Hey, it's your boy thegucciratking, and today we have another video. I know it's been a while since we uploaded a long form video, but today we'll be covering a very strong Uma for the upcoming CM, aka the Scorpio Cup. You're probably wondering what is the Uma in question, and no, it's not X-Miss Ogre. Yes, he is really strong, but we're actually talking about Pace Chaser Maru. And I've seen comments on it when I try to make a Pace Chaser Maru Summer Maru for fun, and no, that does not work. Do not try it. Pace Chaser Summer Maru is ass. But OG Maru is a very real thing, right? Now, heads up, no, I did not make this up on the fly. Matter of fact, I did see this in watching some room matches go on in Victoria Frontiers stream, and also in my own room lobbies experience, and also my viewers were talking about it themselves, right? So I was like, you know what, let's try this out and see if this is strong, right? And the short answer is yes. Before we dive into the build and the team composition for this OG Pace Maru, let's understand why we are using Pace Maru, right? For Pace Chasers, normally where do their excels and unique skills prop? Right? That's the main question we want to ask ourselves, right? Duty of the unique calls. I'm just gonna call for the rest of the video. I'm probably gonna call it Call of Duty. Okay, dude. I'm too lazy to say the whole thing. Yeah, Call of Duty, right? Call of Duty and shooting for victory. Typically, you want your pace chase to be 3rd or 4th for shooting for victory, and 4th and above for Call of Duty. So, where does this problem arise? Well, for people who run Taiki Shuttle, she wants to be 3rd or 4th, right? Or else, no unique, right? There are cases where A, she pushes up too far, where she's 2nd, or pretty much she's the lucky pace chaser, or B, she's in the forbidden void for most pace chasers, which is 5th and below. Let's say you run OG McQueen, this case, you are okay from 4th and above for Call of Duty. However, you still run into that issue of the forbidden void, right? The forbidden void, and from what I've experienced from my own lobbies, right, from my own room lobbies, there is this Bermuda comp that is running around, of course, from Victoria Frontiers or Charles' guide of this upcoming CM, and which means you're more likely to run into some front runners, right? So this void is probably gonna happen. With some front runners means your pace chasers have higher odds of being placed into that void. Of course, I do know that the population of players in room lobbies is not a good representation of players in the actual CM. However, there is a likelihood where there are heavy fronts or a few front runners where this problem arises, right? On the flip side, there is an issue of where you are the lucky pace or 2nd. For most pace chasers, right, if you're the lucky pace or 2nd, besides OG McQueen, you don't have a proc. You can't proc the unique, right? So this is where like Pace Maru comes in, right? Maru's unique redshift is from 5th and above, which means we are accounting for both where in the case we are in the cursed 5th position, or even in the case where we're 2nd above or lucky pace, right? We pair her unique with shooting for victory and Call of Duty, and we have a monster Uma, right? You are 3rd or 4th, you proc all 3. You are 2nd or above, you proc redshift and Call of Duty. 5th, you can proc redshift. It's a safe pace chaser option, and it covers a lot of scenarios, which is useful especially in CMs, because within all those matches, you can't account for what everyone is playing, right? But this has a decent amount of coverage, right? The only scenario where I see this having trouble is where there are a lot of front runners, a crazy amount, right? Which of course, this is kind of like a niche case. Could happen, not very likely. Now, this sounds good and all, Gucci, but isn't this kind of hard to pull off? And yeah, it is, because it takes 10 pace sparks to get her to A, and also she starts with B medium. So you need some medium sparks and some pace sparks, right? And yeah, this is why I'm okay with spreading this. I would never spread some like OP diabolical comp. Everybody run double dom and Bermuda triangle. For the build for OG Pace Maru, I prefer a high whip build, which for the stat line, I like maxed out speed, 800 stam, 800 power, 400 plus guts, 800 plus wit, right? Of course, stam power, you go up a little bit, you can be a little bit below, it's okay. Just around that little threshold, right? I do think for sure people out there are a little bit over stamming the Umas. If you have 800, you are fine in lobbies, even with nice nature. Okay, dude, you will survive. Matter of fact, no, let me spread some misinformation, bro. You need 1200 stamina with 1 gold recovery.
Stop the cap.
Trust me when I say this though, even with a scuffed Maru with 650 stam, she survives some lobbies. Okay, even awful mood. Okay, she does what she does, right? Here's my personal OG Maru that I'm gonna run. I know it's not the perfect pace Maru, but it does win a lot of lobbies, and most definitely there are things I would change. aka drop the wit to like 900, 950 in favor of like 800 stam, 800 power, right? But can you honestly blame me though for clicking on wit or clicking wit too much when I get wit clicks like this? Yeah, I kind of have to click this now. 78 wit is kind of crazy, no? Guys. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. High wit build or high power build? From my personal experience, I am a believer in high wit now. Why, you might ask, right? High wit decks equals more skill points. And what this more skill points means? It means more skills, especially mid-range skills. Very, very important to stack a bunch of mid-range skills, right? You know, as I said before, you don't want to be in that void, and to fight for that void, to fight for your desired position, you want to stack all those skills, right? Or higher your chances to be in that position, right? So mid-range skills are crucial for fighting and keeping that spot that your Uma desires. In this case, we ideally want to be 3rd or 4th. We could be 5th. 5th is kind of like whatever, but like 5th is not the worst. But we want to be nowhere near 6th and below, right? You wonder how people could afford all these skills and have like 2k plus skill points per career run. This is how, right? If you do a power build deck with little to no wit cards, you're gonna be broke, right? You're not gonna have that much skill points. Yeah, you have the stats, but you don't have the mid-range skills, so little to no mid-race, aka you won't win your desired position as often. And hitting the speed cap is relatively easy, right? Because wit naturally changes speed and gives you energy back too, so you're easier to maintain energy. You can do more races because now you have more energy to play with too, so it all just like flows together. You guys get what I'm saying? And the stamina and power requirements should be doable as long as you manage your spirit burst, aka click, stam, and power when needed. Pretty much what I should have done in my own run, but I did kind of get carried away with wit. But yeah, if you manage it properly, you honestly, if I'm looking at my own Uma, I honestly could have hit the desired stat line I wanted if I didn't click wit too much, right? For sparks, I will go with some variation of stam and power, 10 pace sparks, and the rest should be medium sparks, right? In the perfect world, we get medium S, but we didn't get that, of course, and also I kind of wanted groundwork, but this will do, right? For the deck, we are going on speed wit deck. In my case, I did 2 speed, 1 Rico, and 3 wit. MLB Kitasan, 3 LB Biko, 1 Rico, MLB Tachyon, MLB Sunday, and MLB Fine Motion, right? And if you look at the deck, what do I have? A decent amount of fan bonus and race bonus, which helps us with our stat gains, skill points from races, right? Trust me, this makes a huge difference. +4 on races and also +15 at the end of URA and additional skill points. This all adds up and also means you don't need to do as much races because you have a crap ton of skill points and you have a bunch of stats on top of that, right? However, I'd still do additional racing wherever we can, which I'll talk about soon, right? If you are not comfortable doing 2 speed, you can do 3 speed and 2 wit, 1 Rico. You will hit the same stats because she does have 10% speed and 20% wit growth, right? For the actual career, just essentially click speed and wit once you get your cards friendship up. To make sure you hit your desired stam and power. In my case, I said 800 stam, 800 power. Save your spirit burst for these clicks, alright? Of course, if you do have a crazy click on speed or wit, it is what it is. Just click on it, so it's fine, right? Just make sure, don't get carried away like I do, right? She has a secret event too in the first day of summer camp. So with this race, it'll give you like 90 skill points and like +4 stats, right? All around. If you ran like the deck I ran, right? But it still gives you like a decent amount of skill points. It just depends what deck you run, how much race and fan bonus you have. But yeah, that's what it gave me, right? Also, as I said before, do additional races when you don't have good training, aka 1 speed rainbow click for 20 speed, or like no friendship training showed up, right? So it's worth for the additional stats and skill points, and I always risk by clicking the bottom option. As with speed wit decks, managing energy should be on the easier side, right? So -20 energy is not gonna hurt, right? And also there's moments you get -5 energy, and that's super worth it, especially when you get like a bunch of skill points and also you get a bunch, like a good amount of stats, right? Now, for the skills, make sure you min-max your skill points, aka do not buy until the end with all the discounts, right? You want to seek, of course, for useful greens for the CM, which I'll show on the screen. The uniques, I mentioned, Shooting for Victory, Call of Duty, a crap ton of mid-range skills, Professor Curvature if discounted. Honestly, probably should just take it because it could activate twice. But if not, if you can't get Professor Curvature, it's fine. Just get Corner Adept and take like medium corners and shit, and just make sure you get a bunch of mid-range skills. Okay, just make sure you stack skills, right? High wit, you want to stack skills, right? And recoveries if needed, aka below 800 stamina. Yeah, don't need an overstamp, right? You can compensate. For a team composition, I do think it is the best to run double domination, right? Okay, that's kind of weird. But the best comp is to run double domineer. There is the option of putting her into the Bermuda comp, right? But I do think if you run the Bermuda comp, it's just better to run front Maru, because you might push her back into the void just because you're running two front runners, right? Okay, Suzuka plus a front and then like a pace, right? That's the Bermuda essentially, right? Now that we got the build done, now we explain why we're using her. Let me showcase her in some of her performances in some room matches. Okay, here we go. From the 5th position. Look at this. Between two against two front Marus. Dueling. Overtake, please. Tell your ogre to overtake, please. Okay, speed side redshift Call of Duty does activate. You're probably gonna pulse and win, huh? You pulsed. I might lose to pulse. Oh, y'all evil. Okay, y'all evil, bro. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm in the void. I'm in the void. Hey y'all, this is the end of the vid. Hope y'all enjoyed it, and if you did, feel free to sub, like, comment, and share. If you do want to catch us live, we do stream over here, right? We do our career runs, we do play other gacha games, we do help viewers, we do room matches. Feel free to check us out, you know what I'm saying? And that is all for this video. Peace. Love y'all.